Dancing is a very spiritual thing for me. In that blissful space, life is really very beautiful. Maybe that gives the strength to look at disease or suffering. Grief can be overcome. During medical school, it was the first time I used an ophthalmoscope to see inside the eyes, and I fell in love with that. I was told that women don't work in retina, they are not fit for retina. I was this tiny newcomer into a department, and actually they had never worked with a woman student. I just smiled and said, well, thank you sir for the welcome. I hope I'll make you change your mind about women. India has the largest number of premature births. In fact, almost 26% of premature births of the world are born in India. My journey with retinopathy of prematurity, which is called ROP, started somewhere in '95. Slowly I started seeing that few babies were coming to my clinic who were blind. It's not an ancient disease, it's a disease which happens only in the incubator, affects only the premature babies. The vessels start bleeding inside the eye, they detach the retina, and after 3 or 4 months suddenly the parents or the doctor notice that the eye is looking white. That baby is going to be blind for life. But if we had examined this retina at 2 to 3 weeks, we could have done laser, we would have been able to save that good sight the child was born with. I got a list of all the incubators which have been set up in the city. I used to go around to more than 20 hospitals, going around the whole city, going to every nook and corner, searching these babies, making sure that they are getting treatment on time. We had only one laser machine which had to be used in the theatre, in the operating room, and it was available to me only after 8 or 9. I would put that in the boot of my car, and then we would go back to that one baby 5 miles away or 8 miles away whom we had screened during the daytime and needed laser. It would take 2 hours, 3 hours. So by 2, 3 a.m. we would come back to my home with the laser in the boot of my car, sleep, and then 6:30 again back to work. I remember one day my mother-in-law telling my younger son, your mom is coming so late, why don't you call her and tell her to come home early. My mother-in-law was surprised that my 7-year-old boy is telling her, Granny, what do you want? You know, mom is repairing the eye of a baby. Do you want that baby to be blind? In the initial years, these were about 2,000 babies that we did in 2 years. Today we have in our database more than 20,000 babies. We were making our city blind free. And then something changed in 2007. India was having a lot of neonatal mortality. So many babies were dying, in millions they were dying because they did not have access to care. So both the private sector and the government sector and the international NGOs started working to save these newborns. So very rapidly newborn centers started mushrooming all over the place. The eye program was little late to start in these areas, so all of us retina surgeons in the country were suddenly overwhelmed. A lot of blind babies coming to us. So we realized that we need to scale up to a national level. And it is there that we were greatly helped by the Queen Elizabeth Diamond Jubilee Trust. They wanted to help the government sector doctors to get training. Obviously the trust cannot cover a large country like India. So the government, with the help of the trust, set up a national task force where all the stakeholders were on one page. It helped us to have a national guideline which was acceptable to everybody. We debated hugely on every word which is written in that document. But today we are very proud that we have come up with the national guidelines which has been published and implemented across the countries. They are fighters, these premature babies. When they are born, they look very fragile. You just try to catch the hand of that baby, it will just grasp your hand. I want to live, I don't want to die. They grow into amazing human beings. There can be no more reward for a doctor than to see this happening in their lifetime.